Hello everybody, happy Monday afternoon. How are you all? Did you have a nice weekend? Lovely weather, isn't it? I just noticed my nails match the background. How organised is that? Doesn't usually happen. So we're going to do some mixed media today, a little bit of Christmas crafting. For those of you who don't usually do mixed media, I'm not just going to keep slapping on and just saying do this and do this. I'm going to talk you through the processes so you can learn to start experimenting with your different mediums and things, learn about drying times, about the papers that you're applying them to, and really just bring in things like dies and stamps that you've already got to use with mixed media, because you don't have to be buying special things. Now, because we're looking at Christmas, there's a couple of ranges from textures that I'm going to be using. So the first one is my Nordic Christmas. I say the first one, I'm actually going to be doing two cards for you today. One is with Nordic Christmas, actually that's in both of them, and I'm going to be using Jack Frost as well, which is last year's Christmas release. You can find everything in the description below and on the pinned comment as well. That links you just to Craft Stash, so simply go to textures, you can find everything there. Things like I've got distress sprays, I've got things like dimensional paste. I'm going to be using all these. Most of these you're going to find on Craft Stash as well, so you can get everything there. Should we get started straight away? Somebody actually said to me the other day, she said, "Oh, I love your lives because you don't talk too much, you just get straight into it." So now I feel pressured, I need to get straight into it. Thank you, Bailey, if you're catching up on this later. It was lovely to see you the other day. So the first thing I'm going to start with, which is probably my all-time favourite textures die set, and I think I'm going to be bringing this out morning, noon and night all year round for a very, very long time. And that's the Nordic panels. So these are layering panels. They're absolutely gorgeous. Please do comment, make sure you can all hear me okay and you can see okay. If there's anything annoying echo or buzzing or anything like that, let me know, because obviously I can't hear it. Hello to Jessica. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I can see a few of you watching now, so you've all caught me. Brilliant. It was a bit late actually. I kind of decided to do this morning. Now Monday's usually my day off. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to go into the studio. Now, don't be scared by this. It's not Halloween. It's going to look gorgeous, but this is just me getting ready. So I've used the Nordic panels and I've cut the two layers. Now, the first top one is black. The bottom one is orange. This will all become apparent white in a little while. Hi, Karen. Thank you very much for letting me know. Hello, Carla. How are you? I just saw you, some of you watching Sam's live. I was watching that while I was getting ready for this. So I'm going to glue these together first of all before I do anything else. So just layer these two up. These, like I say, my favourite ever textures product. I think, because I say that and then I remember, oh, but I really loved that one. And I really loved that one. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using a wet glue, just my Sizzix glue, could be anything. But I'm trying to be careful to add tiny little bits, because a wet glue like this is usually water-based, but once it dries it kind of has a sheen to it and it will often resist paints and things, so we don't want to have blobs that are resisting all the mediums that we're going to be putting on over the top. So if anything seeps out, we want to be careful. So I'm just going to apply that over the black version, which is the top one, and then directly on top of the orange one, and just line the two up. It does look scary, it does look very Halloweeny. It's all going to look gorgeous in a little while, trust me. Hi Sam, she's joined us as well. How are you all? We'll be happy for you to bring on Halloween. Do you know what? I know I've never really done Halloween. I've not done a Halloween textures collection. It's kind of one of those things I keep thinking about, thinking, would I or won't I? I don't personally celebrate, do too much for Halloween, but it is becoming more and more popular, isn't it? I think this year, we're going to have some sort of gathering. I didn't line my die up there, so I just trimmed the edge off. So yeah, maybe. But certainly I know Sam's got a fantastic Halloween collection coming out very soon, and Helen Griffin has got one she's really excited about. If you remember her Tombstone die set from last year, yeah, you'll remember how cool that was. So yeah, there's lots going on at Craft Stash for Halloween, but me personally, I'm not going to be doing one, but I do have a beautiful autumnal collection coming out soon. Actually, my next collection, I can actually give you a sneak peek of that. If you hang on till the end, I'm planning on being about an hour. If you hang on till the end, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my next collection coming out for textures. So there we go. I'm gluing this all down completely flat. I did say in the description that this is going to be Not too much bulk, not too much in the way of dimension as your heavy items. Just need to find the lid for this. Because, do you know, if you're posting things, and I think that's what puts a lot of people off of posting their mixed media cards or creating mixed media cards, because of the posting, because it does cost more and it is heavier. Let me just move this down. So this is just for the detail, the design, the pattern that's going to be in the background, the texture. I keep not wanting to say textures, but it's textures. I've already put that onto my card base, but I may well snip that away and put that onto a fresh card base afterwards, because I'm likely to get lots of paint and ink on the inside of this now. So the first thing I'm going to come in with, I want to cover this all with a paint. I've just, as you can see, I've just put a blending mat underneath here. Really important when you are doing any mixed media, just cover your surface, because that way you can lift it up and you know that you've got nothing under. You shouldn't have anything on underneath. Okay, so that's just an acrylic paint. This is the Peebo range. I don't know, PBO. I never know how to say that. Anyone give me a little lesson on how to pronounce this range? But you've probably seen it all before. You could use, I've got distress paint as well, any acrylic paint. I've got loads of acrylic paints there, but this is the closest to the colour that I wanted. So just a blob there. Stuart Thomas loves autumn. I know, I love, and actually sneak peeking. Yeah, I will give you a sneak peek in a little while. Hello to Maria. Sorry, Maria, I got your flower wrong earlier when you said, can you guess what it was? But what you mentioned I didn't recognise, so I don't know what that was. I need to look that up. But yeah, it just as lovely as a lily. Thank you so much. Loads of comments. Jessica thrives on autumn and Halloween. Do you? Now we're just going to blob. We're just going to go in and we're going to blob this paint all over. The reason I added a little bit of water is just to make it go a bit further and also to help it dry quicker. But in addition, you'll be able to just see a little bit of that colour coming through underneath. So can you see, you're getting the all over teal, but you're getting a little bit of orange, a little bit of the black. It will just start to come through. I haven't pre-prepared much at all. All I've done is the die cutting, just because die cutting's a bit clunky when you're live. So I prepare if I can, if I've got time, as much as possible of the die cutting. But when it comes to all the mixed media techniques, I haven't done any of that, so you'll be able to see me doing this live. Now already as it's drying, you can see that the orange is starting to really come through, and that's fine. We're happy with that. I'm using just a long bristled paintbrush, and I'm getting into all the little corners, all the little bits there. Might need some more paint. I thought I had loads. We'll see. There we go. Get into all the nooks and crannies, and there's lots of nooks and crannies with this die. Lots and lots. There we go. Okay. So that's got an all over, I'm going to get really messy this out. That's got an all over teal colour. Now all I'm going to do is go over again. It's kind of going to be dry in minutes. Just give it another coat. Just in places, just dab it. I'm not worried about it being everywhere. We want some of that orange showing through and that black showing through a little bit. We're going to highlight those colours as well in a moment. But what we want to do is be drying this off between layers. And that starts giving you that mixed media look, that kind of distressed look that I just love it. When you see Tim Holtz, Stampers Anonymous, there's a billion people and brands that I could mention as well who create cards of this sort of style. I just adore them, and I'm looking into how did they do that, how did they do that. So I thought, do you know what, I don't want people asking how did I do things, I want to show you how I did things. So there's my first layer of paint. Look at me, I'm getting messy already, and if you know me already, I'm not a messy crafter. So let's just put my paintbrush into water and get a wipe and clean this up a little bit, a lot. So I'm going to leave that on there because as I dry this, I think the underneath is going to dry at the same time. So take out my heat gun while I'm doing this, just drying that off. Let's have a look at the comments. All the mess starts to make it exciting. I know. I've got to clear it up afterwards. If anyone wants to come and clear up for me, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Orchids. Oh, I know what orchids are. Sorry, did you spell it incorrectly? Is that why I didn't understand what it was? Sorry, Maria. Hello to Colette, how are you? Yeah, PBO, I think that's how you say it. And lots of people saying they're happy with autumn or Halloween. Well, I'll give you a clue. My autumn is going to be like wildflowers. In fact, there you go, there's the name of the collection, but that's not out for a little while. I've actually got 2 other collections before that. Let's just pop over to YouTube. Lancashire Lass, yeah, thought you'd enjoy a bit of craft with your lunch. By all means, please join me anytime. And if you can't stay, if you can't join me for very long, don't worry, you can always watch these back. Loopy, you've ordered all the textures items, just waiting for them to be delivered. Well, hopefully it won't be too long. Anybody loving the textures collections that I'm using today, there's a link down. There's actually a pinned link, and then there's also a link in the description too. Okay, so that is that, ta-da, all dry. Not so much the underneath, but it'll get there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring out some of the orange, some of the rust. So it's going to look a little bit like aged metal. So I'm going to use this brush again, still going to keep a little bit of the teal on it. And it's a matte, but it's a, ooh, has it got the colour on there? Let me see, chestnut it's called. It's gorgeous, reddy brown colour. So just going to bring a little bit of this into areas, just a couple of areas, and brush them over like so. And then with my water, I'm just going to spritz them, and you'll see the paint starts to fall into the pattern, the design in the background there. And lift it off if it's a bit heavy in places. Gorgeous, it just starts to sit. It kind of already looks like rusted metal, doesn't it? Really lovely. Okay, just dry it. Now each layer, I'm just going to keep drying and drying, just so that when I'm happy with a layer, it doesn't get ruined. Because I'm terrible for overworking something. So by drying it, it just means I'm not likely, hopefully, not likely to overwork anything. Let's see. My wife is looking to start more mixed media projects, so is enjoying watching this live with me. Yeah, definitely. Please. I mean, it's nice to have new people. Do you know what? For mixed media, you actually, as I said at the beginning, you don't need new items. You don't need to go out and buy all new things. Just simply acrylic paint. Maybe you're distressing some things that you probably use at home now anyway already. Just want to get this corner dried. I'm conscious the mat underneath getting too warm, so I'm going to lift it up a little bit. There we go. Looks like aged metal, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, now clean the mat just a bit. Pop that in my water. So give that a wipe, and another wipe, and another wipe. Do it as I go. Just enough to get the excess off, so that if I don't land my card in it later and ruin it. I've obviously got a bit under there. See, I knew I'd do it. Under here's got messy already. Okay, now let's bring in our, let's bring in some brown. So I've got gathered twigs. Let me see if I've got that. Oh no, let's go ground espresso. Okay, this is a distress oxide. So a lot of people have these just for card making. So this is the really dark, like it's kind of a little bit almost black. It's that dark. And I'm just going to brush over. Might need a little bit more. There we go. Just brush over the very, very top in areas. Just adding to more of the layers and more of the colour. Once you've built up the background, I think with mixed media, the background's the most important bit. Once you've built that up, you're good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to leave that out. I'm likely to use that quite a bit. Now I've got, does anyone remember these? These are really old, but they don't seem to go out of date. These are the Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists. I used to have them in every colour. I did sell a lot of them a long time ago. These are lovely. Let's see, live chat. Come on, wakey, wakey. You meant she's. Well, I guessed you meant she's because you said wife. So I'm just going to do from a distance a little bit of ink. Ignore that. Let's quickly get that off of my lovely wood grain background there. And then I'm going to undo the nozzle and I'm going to do some splats as well. This is all adding to that texture. Big splats, little splats. I want it all. I'm just tapping with my finger. Now for some people mixed media is too messy. I really love it. I think because you can still be quite contemporary, you can be modern and simplistic with it, but you're still getting lots of colour and detail in there. So that is, at the moment, that's my background. I don't think I need to do much more to that background for now. Let's move on to the next part. Now I had all this prepared. Let's see, so I've used my panels. Let's put those back in. So these are the panels, if you've just joined us, these are the panels that I've just used to make that background. It does just look like a piece of rusted metal, doesn't it? Could actually take, so when that's all dry, something like a gilding, like my gilding polish broke. I think I stood on it, put something heavy on it. But you could take a gilding wax or a gilding polish and you could just pick up small areas there if you wanted to. So the next bit, now I had all these pieces cut out and then I put them, so oh, here they are, look. I want to make a label. So I want it to be a really cool sort of metal label. So I've used this set, and that's the sentiments and tags. Now these are a lot larger, as you can see, they're a lot larger than they look on the packet. So let's just take out the tags for you, for example. Look, really good size. I've made loads of projects with these. So I'm going to do these, I'm going to make these look quite metal-like. I've got little notes, I actually made little notes earlier on things I wanted to do. So I want to just double check that I've not missed anything in that layer. No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, white leaves, white berries. Going to do that in a little while. I'm going to put these to the side because I want to do something else. I've just remembered. So from this, I need a piece of paper. That will work perfectly. I'm going to make my own kind of little patterned paper. Kind of. So let's take back to the messy drawing board. I forgot about these. Let's just take a tiny little bit of this orange. I didn't have to get rid of the orange, did I? And a little bit of water. That's a lot of water, I know. Just dabbing it on there. Honestly, looks messy. It's going to be so worth it in the end. Just dabbing in. This cardstock is really absorbing everything. You see where I put the really strong colour. So there's the orange. Bear with it, bear with it. Let's do a couple of splats of that. Let's dry that off. Okay, back looks so nice. Love the background, thank you so much. Never heard of the Angels inks? Yeah, long time. Jenny Anders, you love the effect, thank you very much. Just making sure I haven't missed anything. There's lots of new there's lots of new collections coming out, Carla. I've got, like I say, I will give you a sneak peek for the next one because that's only out next month, I believe. I'm trying to remember. Actually, I think it's out September, but do you know what? We're nearly in August, so it's almost next month. This is all going to become apparent. The thing with mixed media, it often has to look much worse before it looks better. So I'm just adding some colour to these. There we go. Let's pop that aside. I've got other mats that I can use. Then I'm going to take my stamps. Do I need an acrylic block? Let's use an acrylic block anyway. I often do like to stamp without one. I'm going to use VersaFine Smoky Grey, so it's not a really dark, really black colour. It's what it says on the tin, it's a grey. Hopefully that tapping isn't too noisy for you. And I'm just going to stamp. Now this is from my Jack Frost collection, this stamp set. I love it. 4 large sentiments. You can use horizontally and vertically, or you can use them inside a card as well. There we go. So hopefully you can just about see there's some texture there. Let's just do this over the rest of this paper here. So if anyone does actually look into the background and try to read it, it will make sense. There we go. But chances are very slim, because what we're going to do with this is cut this into circles and attach those to our background mat up there. So I've got some little circle dies here. Now I'd usually say work in odd numbers. I need a bit of tape. Not sure how well this tape's going to hold on there. I'm going to bring in my, well, I say I'm going to die cut from here. So my die cut machine's just about here. You might just, you can just about see it. So I'm just going to run these through. Let's snip this down. Let me know if you've got any of my textures ranges. Let me know which one has been your favourite. Which ones have you got? And do you know what? It'd be really good to know from you, because I don't do many of these lives. I know I need to do more. I am well aware of that. I need to do more. I'm going to hopefully make Mondays a regular slot if you're all about on Mondays. But you can catch up in the evenings. It'll still be here, but I love chatting to you all live. But yeah, what would you like to see from textures? Product or theme? Don't mind. I'm open to all sorts of suggestions from you all. So just cut some more circles here. Let's move this round, try and get the most we can. I quite like where I've just gone off the colour there. It's going to add some really cool watercolour effects to those circles and bring those through. So yeah, give me a shout. Who's that? Maria, you've got all the collections. Have you really? Wow, you kind of like earn yourself a top fan badge or something. I'll have to make you something. Mariposa is one of your favourites. Yeah, I love that one. That's, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And do you know what? The Mariposa die, the big butterfly, that was probably my second ever favourite. Look at this. That's really cool. I can imagine popping that onto, let's grab a piece of black. That looks awesome. Do some fun things in there. Yeah, like that. Okay, I'm going to keep that as a backing card, because you can do that. The great thing about mixed media is you can just keep things, you can keep using. Now, where did I put the espresso? I'm actually using my gathered twigs for my ground espresso. That's really naughty. So I'm going to brush around these circles. I'm not sure. I don't want this one, actually. I'm going to put that to the side. I want to go in odd numbers, when that means 5, not 6. I really do like where these ones have gone off the edge a little bit, and they're a bit white. So I'm just brushing around the edge with the brown. This is going to enhance the depth and the dimension that we've got, even though these will be glued on fairly flat. It's just going to add to it. Have any of you regularly done mixed media as well? The background will make lovely flowers, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, and how quick was that? No skill involved at all, just slapping some colour on. I really like those circles. Slap some colour on, mix it with a bit of water, mix it with maybe a bit of spray, another colour, and yeah, you're good to go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is start placing these. Now, I did say these are all going to be going on flat, not too much dimension. So I'm going to start, let's start with the bigger one at the top there. Start with the bigger and move away down. I want to be overlapping these as well. So I don't want the glue to dry too quick. These are still a little bit damp. Glue should hold them. I hope the glue's going to hold them. And one thing I love on mixed media cards, which I have prepared on the next card, but I would have loved to have done on this one. Do you know what? Is there any reason why I can't do it on this one? I'm thinking out loud, everyone. I don't see a reason why I can't do it on this one. And that's stitching on a card. Should I do it? Have a vote. Should I live get my machine on my desk and stitch into this card? You won't see a lot, you'll just see the top of my machine, but I kind of feel like I really want to do that. So there's those circles. I'll give you a moment because I love the way you slap colour on. Yeah. Hi Rena, have I said hello to you already? I'm not sure I have, but hello. Do it. Oh, Sam. Yeah, do it. Sam, I'd love to see you get a sewing machine out in one of yours. That'd be brilliant. Before I do that though, I am going to come in with my Tattered Angels. I'm going to take the tube out because this is really going to add lots of dimension to the card. Stand the tube. Will the tube stand up? I don't want to. Let's put it in. I've just got a tub there. I'm putting it in upside down. What I'm going to do now is just brush that dark brown from the Tattered Angels. Just brush it around the edges of some of these because I've glued these down from the centres and not all the way to the edges. There's room for them to run round and underneath. Just drip. I concentrate. I do go quiet when I'm concentrating, so give me a nudge if I go quiet for too long. So this takes a while to dry. Right under there and under this one. So just really focusing on the underneaths of the circles. And then the finishing touch with, well, not the finishing touch, we're nowhere near finished. A bit more in there is falling into all those layers of that background. You need your water. Give it a light mist of water. I say a light mist. And allow it to drip down. Let's bring my mat back in. There we go. Now we've got the water flowing. Just want to add these shadows under here. There we go. Okay. Not so happy with this bit on here. I'm going to remove that off that circle and just leave it in the background. So let me see. Yes, to do it, go for it. Brilliant. I will have to set my sewing machine up. That's fine, we can do that. Okay, let's clean this off. I used a clean brush to go into my ink because I'm going directly into it. I don't want to contaminate it with anything. I've just got the darkness on those. Okay, so that needs to just be dried off, and then I will get the sewing machine over because some stitching down the centres of those circles is going to look gorgeous. It's going to have to go through quite a few layers of cardstock. If you're going to use a sewing machine on your paper, change your needles. I've got a sewing machine in the studio that I only use for paper now. I don't have another sewing machine, my mum's got one. She's even got my overlocker as well. But don't go trying to use the same needle for paper and for fabric because the paper will blunt your needle, as you'll find fairly quickly, and if you try and then go through fabric it just won't work. So all that's done is that's added that drop shadow kind of underneath. There we go. Oh right, so if you're going to bring your sewing machine in, make sure all your liquids are safely put away because of course it is electric. You're going to have to bear with me, I've got my microphone attached to me. I'm going to have to try and reach. Luckily, oh, it's not too far away. It's really big. You're literally going to be looking at the top of it. I'm wondering if I can do something here. Excuse the focus. There we go. That will be okay like that. I did leave the power cable here somewhere. This is why I shouldn't do lives. Look, you get me doing things that I wouldn't be doing in a video otherwise. Oh, it's your spray of Craft Stash product. This particular bottle isn't, Rena, but there is, where are they? You get a pack of 2 like this from Craft Stash, really inexpensive as well. Again, I've got the link in the description and everything. So the noises of the machine. So yeah, Craft Stash, if you look up Craft Stash brand, it should be there. It might be under Essentials as well. Just double checking, haven't missed any questions or anything. Oh, you're in Puerto Rico, Maria, and it takes Up to 4 weeks, but the weight's worthwhile. That's lovely. Okay, now I've got black thread in the top and in the bottom. This is where I really hope that I don't go and snap the thread, but what's the worst that can happen? So I'm just going to set the machine. There we go. It's going to be noisy, everyone. I'm going to slow it down because it's going through so many layers. It's going to be noisy. Hopefully it'll be worth it. Hopefully over the noise you can still hear me. And all I'm doing is I'm doing a zigzag stitch through the centre of those circles. I'll probably do a couple more as well. So of course that's going to hold them on, but you do need a little bit of glue to hold them in place to start with. So just going one long line from top to bottom first of all. I've no idea if that's even straight. Now I've got a thread cutter there. Oh, I just missed it. This is a really funny angle. I've got one long line there. Let's do another one just through these two larger circles in the middle. And do you know what? They don't have to go all the way through either. Let's bring it over to this bottom one. And I'm going to trim all the threads. Oh, that's suddenly gone very quick. I must have just knocked the speed there. Let's see. I think we just need... Let's cut the thread here. I think my sewing machine needs a name, bless it. It's been in my craft room for years and it's hardly ever... I don't think it has ever appeared on a live. Poor thing. Right, one more. Yeah, a little bit faster. Come on, you can do it. Just doing really well, actually. Getting through. There we go. I press start. So doing really well getting through all those layers. Okay, so scissors. I'm going to leave a lot of these threads loose. Give my sewing machine a name. What should we call him? Is it he? I would say a he. You don't have a machine either, but you love this. It honestly, it looks so good. Now there are other things. If you're interested in my Stitch in Time collection, for this reason, I actually did some border stamps. I'm pretty sure they're still available. They have got a couple of stitched border stamps in them, and they're just like this. They're just a zigzag stitch, so you could actually stamp over the top in those as well. Otherwise, get a pokey tool, pop your holes in, use a fine liner or a white gel pen, something like that, and add your threads. Now obviously I would then need to cover the back of this, and I like that the threads are loose at the front. I'm not going to be tying these off. I can pull a couple of them as well, so there we go. Stitch those on. We need to add, it's not looking very Christmassy, so we need to make this a Christmas card. So coming back to where I first started, I've got the labels, the tags and sentiments here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the centre black. I've just die cut that from black. Let me just show you again, in case you're just joining. There we go. I'm going to pop over to YouTube because I've kind of neglected you over here a little bit. Hello Cheryl, how are you? Carl Bell, highly addictive. Oh, what's that? Is it this? Interesting. I don't know that anything I've done has been called addictive before. I like that. So I've just die cut the Christmas. They are much, much larger than you see on the packet. Of course, you can see the Merry, the size of it there. The tags are huge. So I've cut the Merry from black. I've cut the Christmas from black. What I've done is where I've cut the Christmas, I've trimmed around the excess to give myself a frame that will fit perfectly around the outside. So what I'm going to do is with the Merry and the frame, I'm going to be embossing these. I've cut myself a panel of white as well, so that can just go underneath the word Christmas there. Whoops, pop it to the right side, so that's really going to stand out on that. But we want to bring some metallic into this. So how wet is this? I think this is pretty mucky, isn't it? Let's bring this off. Now, what I would say, if you're attempting mixed media and you love that layered look, that textured look that people do, you think, oh, I'd never be able to do that. Try just every layer you're going to put down, think about how could I make this more textured? Could I stamp onto it? Could I ink it? Could I splash some colour onto it? And work that way. And you'll soon find actually that your layers start looking more textured really quickly, and you've automatically got that mixed media effect. So I'm going with Versamat, and I haven't actually chosen yet my ink, but I've got lots and lots of metallic embossing inks. I'm going over this frame as well that I've cut. So it's not actually a frame that comes with the die set. Like I say, it's just take the excess and cut round it. This is a gorgeous one. So this one was designed by my lovely friend Pete Hughes for Sizzix, part of one of his collections. It's beautiful, and it's kind of a platinum colour. So let's sprinkle this on. So it's not a gold, it's not a silver, it's kind of in between. I don't want to remove any of that lovely embossing ink. So the clear ink popping onto this. Now even that black, I'm not going to leave that as it is. I'm going to add some more to that in a moment. Now I've got some tweezers somewhere. I did say, I was on TV the other day and I did say I've lost my tweezers. Well, I found them, I just left them on my desk here. I hadn't lost them at all. But I never have them when I most need them. So just pick this up as best I can. Ah, dear. Do you know what? With this sort of theme, if you do miss a little bit of the embossing, it really doesn't matter. So put that back in the pot. This, you can see, this is actually one of my most used embossing powders because I really love it. Can't decide if it's silver or gold because it's platinum. I never use a full, look at me messy, I never use embossing powder all the way up, very, very rarely. That is probably one of the only ones I'm ever going to use. Black and white, yes, but I very often just have multiples of those. Let's bring over a heat resistant mat. This is the mat that I use with a gel plate. Lots of lovely colour. Let's bring these on here and heat set these. I assume you've all seen heat embossing before. I don't like to assume anything. Oh, I've just seen a question. I'm just going to heat set these whilst I have a look. Did you use a special type of sewing needle, Lou? Absolutely love sewing. Do you know what? No, I didn't use a particular sewing needle, but I do, as I said earlier, I do make sure I don't use the same needle for paper and for fabric. It's just going to ruin your needle, blunt your needles. As soon as you go through that paper, it will blunt it. So an ordinary needle, I say an ordinary one, it's probably, I think, one that goes through denim, you know, the thicker ones. I'm not a sewist. I don't know the names of the needles. I just know how to navigate my way around a sewing machine. But yeah, one that goes through your denim, for example, it's one of your thicker, heavier weight ones, is ideal if you're going to be going through layers and layers of cardstock or paper like this. And as you saw with me, go slowly as well. So can you see, this is a gorgeous, it just looks like liquid metal, doesn't it? Really beautiful. I love, love, love that. It's going to sit on there beautifully. Now, as I did say, I'm not going to just be keeping this, let's stick with this mat for now. I'm not going to be keeping this just as it is. I'm going to add a little bit of colour and texture to this as well. So a little bit of brown in places. Again, only in places. This is only going to be seen through there, okay? Just through the words a little bit in places. But it's these little details that are going to make all the difference. Let's glue this down. Again, careful with the glue, because if we decide to put any paint or colour over the top, we don't want to risk this glue seeping out. There we go, pop that on there. Doesn't feel like a Monday, does it? Well, it might do for you, it doesn't for me. I don't work with Craft Stash on a Monday. I have Mondays off. I have a poorly dad that I usually go and see on a Monday, but this week I'm not seeing him, which is hence my live. But it's fine. He's all good. He's all good. But yeah, it's really, really nice to be in the studio on a Monday, not working. Now, with my cards, lots of you know I like to overlap things. I like to not stick with the usual. Let me just find my foam tape. So far, although you've got all that dimension, it's still flat. Okay, so if you're over in the States, you're going to have no problem with layering this up. Now I need to pop this back in and put the two together. So that's going to be a layer of foam tape across here. See, the same with scissors. You shouldn't mix scissors for fabric and for paper, and you shouldn't cut your glue with them, but I do. I'm terrible. I don't stick to any rules when it comes to crafting. I just do what I want to do, and to be honest, I just then go and replace my tools a little bit later. So that's looking, I've overlapped it, that's why. I was thinking that's not looking right. So let's just bring this down slightly so it fits in there. So a bit of foam tape on the back there, and then another piece on here, and this is going to hold that frame in. So this is Craft Stash foam tape. It's really cool. It's really lovely foam tape. A mixed media maker, not a clothes maker. I must have missed that comment. It's Brother after all. Yeah, Brother. It is a Brother machine. If you know the lovely gentleman, a gentleman crafter. If you know gentleman crafter, I don't know if many of you will know his proper name, but if you know gentleman crafter on, well, all over social media, he's a wonderful crafter, John Bloodworth. He sold me the machine a long time ago. Okay, so that's going to go on there. Now this is where I'm not going to put anything on just yet. I'm just going to start playing. Now I've got a little metal clip there. I'm going to bring metal in now. This is where it gets really exciting. Now, do I bring florals in? I was thinking about actually cutting some pieces of leaves from, let's bring this over, from my Paris Romance collection. I've got some leaves, but I'm thinking they're just going to be a bit too big. Could do some green leaves and some white berries. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it. So just a couple. So these, they're really big. No, I'm humming and ahhing. I'm thinking, no, they look, actually they'll be all right. I think they'll be. That's actually the center of a leaf. So what I'm looking at cutting is a leaf that, this is actually part of the Paris Romance layering flower. It's big flowers, big like peonies that layer up. So I'm going to cut these from green, and this is part of that set. Now they make gorgeous big flowers, but they also have leaves included, and I was thinking I'll add some of these in, but actually I think they'll be a bit large. But however, I'm thinking that leaf won't be so bad. Yeah, obviously I'll do some for Christmas, that's fine. I'll do some additional colouring, distressing to that before I put that on there. But how are we liking it so far? Maybe a small poinsettia. Yes, now I already had that in mind, actually. I think I'll do 3 of these. I did find myself some red flowers earlier, but they were a little bit too red, so I spritzed them. I'll show you what I spritzed them with actually, because it's quite subtle, but it's nice. So there's 3 leaves, they'll be okay. Now I've got these, now 3's far too many. It's not a poinsettia, but as far as Christmas flowers go, it's not far off. I've also got these berries. I must admit these, although I've said everything's from Craft Stash, these things, this is a Do Crafts range. I'm not sure if we'd have these on the website or not. We may do. We do have some Do Crafts and Paper Mania things. Got some berries here, got some flowers. These are kind of just what's been in my stash for a long time. And I used, where is it? Where are you? Here we are. So this is one of the distressed mica sprays, and this one's the bronze one, antique bronze. So these were white and red, which kind of gave them a pink look. I've spritzed them all over with the bronze, and that's just taken that white down and that pink down a little bit, and it actually works much better with that. So let's start looking at how are we going to, let's just go around the edge of these. So with these, around the edge with brown, that's kind of my go-to, is to go around the edge with brown, and then we'll just stamp a little bit of text onto them to give them some more texture. How are we doing? Do you know what? 45 minutes in, I've still only done 1 card. I was going to do 2 for you. Maybe, how about, we'll get this one done. How about we save the other one for next Monday, if you can join me. I'll give you a sneak peek of it so far. I've got my fabric already sewn, so I didn't have to do the sewing of that. But I have got another stamp set. Here it is. This is gorgeous. Again, from the Paris Romance collection. Check that out if you've not seen it before. And it's got script, so it's got the postcard script on it, and then it's also got this beautiful sort of vintage French label on there. So thank you so much, really gorgeous. Perfect for men at Christmas, which is always a struggle. It is, you know, not all men are with ladies who appreciate like a nice typical Christmas card. Certainly if I was sending my brother one, for example, he wouldn't want what I would send my mum. So yeah, absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to dab the postcard into the espresso and just give this a bit of texture. Now I've got some papers coming up. Oh, I just managed to do the same place twice. I've got some papers coming up in a collection soon. I'm not going to show you all my upcoming collections because I need some to be a surprise. But I completely hand designed them, as in I inked them and I distressed them, and then I did all things like the stamping on them as well. I love them. They're just absolutely perfect for what I'm going to be using them for in that collection. So really, really pleased with those. I know I'm teasing you. I'm saying, oh no, I've got this coming up, but I'm not showing you. Honestly, stay tuned to textures. You'll see it all. Right, so let's see how we're going to start layering these up. So I've got these flowers. Could pop a flower coming out from, oh, it's had a little ball in the middle. It's lost the little ball, but never mind, we'll pop that to the side. Let's pop one there, and let's pop another one just coming out from under here, I think. And then the leaf, let me just put my hot glue gun on, because I think this is going to be a hot glue gun moment when we get to it. How are we doing? There, stay. Let's see. Oh, I've lost my live chat. There we go. I've got you back. I really like the sewing. My husband, you want a sewing machine for what? Yeah, for cards. Obviously, that's all you need them for. Popping over to YouTube. I think it takes a little while for the live comments to catch up on YouTube. It always does, doesn't it? It's getting there. Mrs. Stationery Stuff, sorry you're late. Weren't you here at the beginning? No, maybe that was someone else. Sorry. I just got you muddled with someone else. I'm so sorry. The leaves are going to go. So I need to glue the Mary down. I appreciate I still need to do that. I think we'll have the leaves. I always have the more heavy items near the bottom. And then I love these berries. Pop those in. One in there. Do you know what I'm going to do with this berry? It's got a long wire on it. Where's my pokey tool? I'm going to twist the wire as well. So just twist this around my pokey tool. Need to do it the other way really, so it doesn't get in my way. I can easily pull it off then. And then I can glue this one down with the wire poking up. So it's part of the design. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. I cut that one, didn't I? I can't do it with that one. There we go. Okay, well that's just heating up. Won't be another moment or so. Let's glue the sentiment down. So this is what textures is all about, and this is when I originally designed it, when I first started talking with Craft Stash about doing a range. I want mixed media items. I was very demanding. I would like mixed media items, but I want the items to also be open to people who aren't so keen on mixed media. So whether you don't have the time to do it, you don't have the confidence to do it, you just don't like the style, that's fine. Not everybody does. There we go. So hopefully that's what you get from textures. Now I do need a new glue stick in there, don't I? I thought I got one out. Let's pop this in here. There we go. Glue my flowers on, and then it's just finishing. I did turn this on, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. Just takes a moment. Now for these leaves, I'm just going to bend them down the middle, scrunch them ever so slightly to give them more texture. So would any of you, I mean, I love watching people create mixed media. Would you try to reproduce this card or elements from it? I'd love to know. Or do you just like watching? A genuine question, because, you know, I want to be able to help you create an experiment. If you just love watching, then what do you want to see? What would you copy along with? There's that berry. And then this flower just underneath this metal clip. Just the addition of metal is lovely on mixed media cards. It really does give it all the feels, all the right feel there. Bend that last leaf. And whenever I'm doing any, oh, I put that the wrong side of the metal clip, so I will need to remove the glue when that's cooled. Don't do what I do and try to remove it while it's still warm, because it will just string and cling to everything else instead. And that's quite a lot of glue on there, goodness me. So I'm just going to take my heat gun. If you have got stringy bits, you can't quite get them all, you can't see them, use a heat gun and just heat them up, and they'll just bing, they'll just all disappear, shrivel up. The heat will make them shrivel up into themselves. There we go, just move that tag down. Lovely. Now, last finishing touch. This is my absolute favourite white to use. Alternatively, you can use Distress Spray Stain. So this is Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, something that I've used since I was doing calligraphy. You've got things like the fluffy stuff. If you've seen that from Cosmic Shimmer, you could use this for this next bit. There was one more I wanted to show you. Oh, just acrylic paint. Where's my white? There you go. Just a bit of white acrylic paint. Well, it's kind of knocking the Distress Spray Stain out the way. Any of these will work, but this stays white. As it says, bleed proof white. It stays really, really white. The only thing is you do need to sometimes prep it a little bit, because it does often thicken up. So I'm going to take my paintbrush out, and this is quite a thin paintbrush. Let's see how it's doing in there. There's a little bit of liquid in the top, so just mixing that in. Now my intention is I want some white splats on that black, because I've done nothing to the black to distress it. It's quite a solid colour. So if you're doing this and not a lot's coming off, it's probably that it's too thick. So let's just try and loosen with the liquid that's in there. That's better. Just a few splats around. It's going to give it more of a Christmassy kind of snow flurry look. I'm not at all happy with that one there. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom. That's more of a splodge than a drop. So let's just lift that up with a wet wipe. There we go. Oh, coloured in. Lovely. They will remain white. They won't blend into the background. Even though you've used water reactive distress inks in the background, that'll be fine. That'll stay as it is. And there we go. There's a mixed media card. Now, I said about it not being too bulky. You can, of course, pop this bit down, although I've got my berry in the way. The flowers can be flattened much more than they are already. You don't have to even use dimensional flowers. So you really can make that much flatter than I have. But essentially, that is how you go towards layering for a mixed media card for Christmas if you want to pop it in the post. Loving this collection, ordered some of it. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so this is using the Nordic Christmas collection. I did promise you all, didn't I, a sneak peek of a new one. Let me just show you the Nordic Christmas items that I've used. And what I'll do is I'll plan on hopefully next Monday, if I can. I'll probably go see my dad, but I'll plan it in at some point next week to do the other card that I was planning on doing today. The thing with mixed media, it does take a long time. That's what I was going to use as well. So this is from the Nordic Christmas collection. They're the panels that I used. Then I've got the sentiments and tags as well. So I've used the sentiments there. If I just, I've just stuck my finger in white paint. It does take a little while to dry. There you go. You can see the metal of that there. And these are large. I mean, they're much larger than they show on the packet. Always have a look at the description on Craft Stash because they're going to give you the size for the largest die, kind of gives you an idea. I also use in the background on those circles, I used this from the Jack Frost collection, the sentiment there. I've used from the Paris Romance selection. I used these stamps. They're the Carte Postal and Vintage Label A5 stamp set. Was that it for that? I think it was. Do you want to have a quick sneak at my next collection? Let me just come off here a sec because I just need to get one of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5 items? Just going to double check. What am I missing? No, I'm missing that as well. This is really naughty. I shouldn't show you much of this at all. Now, you may have seen a sneak peek actually on my social media. If you saw the little bird that I asked you to name, I think that was on Instagram. That was from this collection. So the little birdie. Now, it's called Bookshop. The entire collection is called Bookshop. And this is where the little birdie came from. So there's 2 in there and you get all the pieces. What I love is on the back, we've worked to make sure that you've got a guide for where the pieces go when they're cut. So you work out which letter your piece is by the shape of it, the design on it, and it will show you how to piece the birds together. I need to find that. I need to find my little birdie. Oh, here he is. For those of you who didn't see it, because it went on Instagram, I think he went on Facebook as well. Here he is. Good size, isn't it? Really good size. Again, look at the packaging. We can't put the full size things on the packaging. Now, aside from the birds, we've also got books. Again, really, really good size with these. So you're going to be able to layer up stacks of books, have the birds around them. Yeah, really good fun with those. As I said, it's called Bookshop. Then we've got the layered hearts there as well, which is this one in the background here. And what you've also got with this one is this twine. I did give a sneak peek at some point about the twine that wraps around. So you die cut that, it looks like wrapped twine. You cut it from any colour, paper clip, and you've got the edges, the borders here. So look at those. So it just cuts that. And then we've got stamp sets, like dictionary excerpts. We've got this stamp set is really cool. It's a big, shouldn't be doing this, I should not be, I'm going to get told off. 2 stamps in here. This is one, your background, it fades out from a book page, and then in the centre you can either put your typewriter, your books, or your florals, and all of these of course will work separately as well. And lastly, we've got ephemera. The ephemera is absolutely gorgeous. Think library cards and things like that. So look at these, library cards, books, old books, stacks of books. You've got the public library sign there as well. Old bookmark, gorgeous. Right, I need to move these out of the way because I'm going to get in trouble. So put these out of the way, but that's a sneak peek. So that is around about September. Sam's going to tell on me. Shh. No, you're not Sam. I'll buy you some tea cakes. Thank you so much everybody for joining me. Hope you liked that. If you love those Nordic Christmas and the Jack Frost and the Paris Romance items, I've got them all linked below. Just pop on the link in the description or the pinned comment in the live chat there, and you can go to Craft Stash and find all of those. The easiest way is to go to Craft Brands, search out textures, and then you can limit on the sidebar. You can filter which brands you want to see. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me everybody, and I will see you hopefully next Monday. But I'll set up an event to do this other cut. I promise. Look, I had all these bits cut out ready to do another card. I just didn't quite get round to it. That's how slow I craft. But lovely. Have a fantastic week, everyone. And I will see you. Of course, I'm live on Craft Stash on Wednesday and on Friday. And hopefully I'll see you again maybe next Monday or even a Saturday perhaps this week for that other card. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.